From time to time, I will be using the term bipartisan. Just want to acknowledge now that we're dealing with more than two parties in this particular race. But can you give examples of your past bipartisan efforts, including any time you might have gone against a dominant position of your party?
Sure. So I don't, I accept the majority of platform items in the Libertarian Party. I don't agree with all of them personally, but I am running as a Libertarian candidate, and those issues that are outside or with which I disagree are outside the scope of the Office of Secretary of State. If I were running for governor or Senate or president, then we could have a very different conversation about some of those immigration issues and border issues. However, that being said, what I think I can point to in terms of bipartisan work is, number one, I serve on a couple of different my communities or a couple of different boards in my community here in Carmel, Indiana. So I'm appointed to the Economic Development Commission, and I've been appointed to the Home Place Advisory Board. And when we talk about really local issues about sewers and roundabouts and intersections and schools, those are, at the end of the day, really not about big partisan issues, not about big philosophies, but really day to day, what do we want to see in our communities? And secondly, on a more partisan level, I took lead in developing and presenting the Libertarian Party of Indiana's 2020 redistricting process and proposal. And we presented this in 2021. Of course, it was a year late because of COVID and the census, but I went and gave testimony before a joint session of the House and Senate downtown at the State House, and that was in August of 21. And we had a short, succinct plan. You can see it still today at rethinkredistricting.com. But there were 3 or 4 main suggestions, and they were very nonpartisan or bipartisan in approach. Number one, we should have a nonpartisan commission that leads in redistricting, not a partisan or certainly a highly partisan or bipartisan legislature that chooses their own seats and districts. Second was we should keep communities whole, regardless of party or any party affiliation. We recommended specifically keeping counties, and if we need to subdivide, then school districts whole, recognizing that I could go into my Carmel Meijer and I see Carmel Greyhounds t-shirts. That's a community, right? We're behind our local high school sports team. What I don't see there are House District 32 t-shirts because it's not a natural organic community. So keeping those types of natural organic communities whole is really critical to this, to not divide voices. And then third is creating nested districts. And that means we want to take 2 House districts and put them within 1 contiguous Senate district. If you think about our district maps, they're sort of these overlapping jigsaw puzzles that are all cut differently, and so they never overlap cleanly. But what we're suggesting is have real accountability, have two representatives for every 1 senator, all within 1 contiguous district. That way there's accountability, the same people work with each other consistently and routinely, and that yields better results and greater accountability. So that was very much a tripartisan effort or a libertarian effort presented to a bipartisan panel.